So, what if I told you that the experience sitting on your resume right now could be worth 80, 100, or even $150 an hour from home on top of the job you already have? And no, we're not talking about becoming a programmer or going back to school, not even starting your own business. I'm talking about companies paying people for something they already spent years acquiring. So, yes, this is legitimate. And I didn't just find this one on the internet and then run over here to tell you about it. I've already completed 2 AI interviews. So, what I'm going to tell you actually happened. What the interview was like, what I think they're looking for, what I would do differently, where the actual opportunities are, how much they're paying, how long some of the projects last, how quickly you need to move, what you can do to get disqualified or qualified, and what happens with the taxes. And more importantly, how you can find out whether someone is willing to pay you for what you already know. Because if you're chosen for the right project, this could be more than just some side hustle money. This could be financial strategy money. So let's talk about it. So just think about it. You're already paying your household expenses with your regular paycheck. So now imagine another stream of income comes in for 3, 4, 5, even 6 months. And instead of upgrading your lifestyle, which so many of us do, you deploy it. Credit cards, gone. Personal loans, gone. Car balances, go ahead and double up on those payments, and savings account, get your money up. And then you want a vacation without putting it on a credit card, pay cash. And mortgage, where you're going to put extra money on the principal so you can cut down the length of that loan. So you're sending additional money towards every debt that you have. So you could take temporary income and then use it to create a permanent financial improvement. That sounds awesome to me. So the truth is, money is really tight for most people these days. Interest charges are eating up payments, insurance costing more, housing costing more, and everything at the grocery store apparently is auditioning to become some luxury item. I'm interested in opportunities that can actually move the needle, not another $37 or not downloading 6 apps to make $11. I'm talking about money that will move the needle. And this one, y'all, it got my attention. So what exactly are these companies paying people to do? It's called AI training. But don't let the name run you off, okay? Because when I first heard AI trainer, I thought computer science, coding, machine learning, technology. And that couldn't be further or furthest from the truth. These opportunities exist. But then I started looking at the actual jobs, and that's when the story became very interesting. So I found AI training opportunities for an array of different professions. I'm talking claims adjusters, store managers, retail professionals, logistic managers, attorneys, accountants, financial professionals, engineers, healthcare professionals, researchers, educators, writers, sales professionals, operations professionals, investigators, cybersecurity professionals, and the list goes on and on. In fact, Handshake, which is one of the companies hiring for these AI trainer jobs, advertised a job for a claims specialist for $75 an hour. And for experienced claims professionals, even more. So there were store manager opportunities, all types of retail professionals, logistic managers that's currently being advertised right now, along with a lot of the legal professional projects. So if I didn't name your profession, just don't assume it isn't there. You want to look, you want to search, because here's the first thing I learned. AI doesn't only need to learn technology, AI needs to learn how to work, how to operate a business, how claims are evaluated, how stores function, how professional decisions are made, professional reasoning that goes along with that, how problems are solved, and how experienced people recognize when something isn't right. So, that is, in short, what AI is learning from you. So, it may not make sense, but just hang in there with me for a moment, because here's where your value comes in. AI can generate an answer in seconds. We know that. But there's a problem. AI can be confidently, beautifully, and professionally wrong. And somebody has to recognize that. So suppose AI generates an insurance analysis. A person who's never handled a claim might read it and think, okay, that sounds good to me. An experienced adjuster, though, might look at the exact same answer and say, absolutely not. Hold up. Where's the coverage analysis? Where are the facts of the incident? Did we establish a duty? What was the causation? What jurisdiction did it occur in? What's the policy information say? What's the limits of the policy? That's expertise. So a retail manager sees an AI recommendation about inventory reconciliation and says, that's not how this works in an actual store. So a logistics professional sees a routing recommendation and immediately recognizes the operational problem. An attorney can catch the flawed legal reasoning. A healthcare professional will catch a dangerous omission, and an accountant catches a calculation that looked perfectly respectable but is completely wrong. So that is what these companies are buying. Not your ability to build AI, but your ability to catch AI's stupidity, in short. And I really mean that, because the model already has information. What it needs from you as a human is judgment. So Handshake's current opportunities say that contributors use their real-world experience to evaluate AI's generated material involving processes and the language of policies and customer communications. So it's store management opportunities that seem to you that you're in retail, right? And of course, how can I teach AI? You would be surprised at what AI needs to learn from someone in retail, the actual workflows, how to evaluate the inventory, just on and on and on. So here's the sentence I want you to remember. You don't need to know AI better than AI. You need to know your job better than AI. So now, hopefully we understand the opportunity. So if you're like me, you're like, okay, enough, show me the money. How much? Because this is where you have to read each posting, each project, each listing carefully. Because the pay, of course, varies dramatically. Of course, the profession matters, the project and the company, because there are multiple companies, matter. Your credentials and certifications matter. Your experience matters, and the client matters. But the numbers, y'all, can be substantial, because Handshake alone, they have very clear and precise numbers per hour that they're offering. And not everyone obviously will be chosen. So of course, you can't even get to the starting blocks if you don't engage. So that's what we're here to tell you. So let's just forget the $150 an hour. Let's just choose a random number like $80 an hour. Suppose an active project gives you 10 hours per week. That's $800 a week. $800 at 4 weeks is $3,200 gross. Now, 3 months at that pace, you're looking at about $9,600 gross. 6 months, $19,200. But that's before taxes, of course. Now, do you see why I keep talking about debt? Because $19,000 plus in temporary gross income, it's not maybe our order takeouts more often. That's what financial problem can I make disappear? So you have to be responsible with the money. The hours, guys, are not guaranteed. It's not like your regular job. The project itself is not guaranteed, and the rates do vary. So the assignments can start and stop. So these numbers are illustrations, not promises, but they show you why the hourly rate matters. So don't think of a new lifestyle, how much shopping you can do. Get rid of your debt. So you want to think old debt. So that's the Underground Almanac mentality. Give temporary money a permanent assignment. Now, here's something that I found particularly interesting. These companies aren't necessarily looking for someone who's sitting around waiting to be rescued by a job. Basically, people who are not employed. For some of these jobs, most of them, to be honest with you, they are looking for people who are actively in their profession. So your experience is your asset. And Handshake's claims specialist listing says that the project is designed for people who are already working or recently worked in claims. So it requires 4+ years of experience and says that the project can be done alongside primary employment. Think about why. They don't really want people explaining how your profession worked 10 years ago. They need current workflows, current practices, current terminology, current problems, and current professional judgment. So your regular job isn't necessarily standing between you and this opportunity. Your regular job may be actually what makes you so valuable. So that's a completely different side hustle proposition. So there's several different companies that are hiring for AI trainers. There are probably about 10 so far that I think that I've come across. MERCOR is one of them. Handshake AI. There is Outlier, Data Annotation, OneForma, and the list goes on and on. I'll put that in the description box so you'll be able to use those links to go in, submit your resume, and you'll get a feel for kind of what they're looking for. So we don't want this to be a scavenger hunt, right? You finished watching the video, so we want to put everything that you need at your fingertips so that you can move forward with seeing if you're a fit for these AI trainer jobs. Now, don't get discouraged. Hear me out. Do not get discouraged if you don't get picked up for the first, second, or even third opportunity, right? I know friends that are making a killing on these jobs. So I haven't actually been hired yet, but I have advanced to the final stages in 2 of those. One was for Handshake AI, and I did the AI interview, and then the other was for MERCOR, and I also did the AI interview. So don't get discouraged if you get turned down, because there's so many of them and they post these daily. So I found the AI interviews very 2026-esque, right? So it's almost like I felt like the AI was trying to read my responses as opposed to listening to them and feeding off of them. But that's just my opinion. What I did gather from the interview is that AI can pick up if you're performing. So don't go in there trying to perform. For instance, you don't want to answer and say, well, throughout my illustrious career, I have leveraged cross-functional synergies. No, stop. Don't do that. Nobody talks like that. So if you've been handling claims, you want to talk about claims. If you've been running a retail store, let's talk store operations. If you are an accountant, well, think and talk like an accountant. So the goal is not to sound impressive necessarily. The goal is to demonstrate your expertise. So if they ask you a question, simply answer it, explain it. And if there is an exception, just say that. If you need more facts or if you need AI to repeat the question, be natural. Don't overdo it, because I think AI tries to read too closely into a person trying too hard. One thing that I also noticed is that you can stop the recording, but they only give you like 2 stops. So you can't keep starting it over and over. I believe, depending on the company, they give you like 2 stops and you can start over. So you want to make sure that before you actually do the interview, make sure that you have your little cheat sheets, but don't be looking away, because it can pick up on that as well. So you're on a camera with AI. And what happens is, it's my understanding that after your interview is complete with the AI person or AI process, then there's a live group of people that will listen to it once it's done. So I think they'll pick up if you're looking away for answers, if you've written cheat sheets or you have some little cheat answers written. Just make sure you're kind of focused toward the camera. I think you'll be okay if you look away a time or two, but don't make it seem like you're reading from a script, because I think AI can pick up on that and you won't be chosen. And finally, just be yourself. Be human. Be smart, conversational, experienced, clear, precise, and not too corporate. So you're demonstrating professional judgment, not auditioning for a pharmaceutical commercial. So keep that in mind. So here's something that's super important, guys. If you're actively applying for these opportunities, don't submit your application, then disappear. Make sure you check your spam, your emails, check the platform, and watch for the invites, the assessments. And if you receive a legitimate project invitation, move quickly, right? Verify it first. Make sure you're dealing with the actual company, but don't wait around unnecessarily. The project work is driven by demand. So Handshake, for instance, explicitly says placement depends on project availability, and the store management listing says contributors generally work 5 to 20 hours per week while participating in an active project, but there is no minimum work requirement. So in other words, they can say it's 5 to 10 or 20 hours per week, but if there's additional work that they have, they would offer you that. So you will have the opportunity to work even more. That's solely up to you. It doesn't disqualify you if you decide, well, no, I only want to work 10 or 15 hours per week. They will still keep you in, the rotation if you don't want to, work more hours than you signed up for. But if you sign up for at least the minimum, you do have to complete at least the minimum. So that's another reason we aren't treating this like a guaranteed salary, because you can make less than you think. You can also make a lot more than what the original project amount is. So you'll probably be paid as an independent contractor, a 1099 employee. So you're generally self-employed for federal tax purposes. So the Internal Revenue Service says independent contractors generally do not have taxes withheld the same way that a W-2 employee would. Net self-employment earnings of just $400 or more can trigger self-employment tax obligations, and estimated tax payments may also be required depending on your situation. So let's just say you make $10,000. Don't spend $10,000. Keep good records, set money aside, and understand your tax obligations. And if this becomes meaningful income, talk with a qualified tax professional, because remember the mission: pay off the visa, replace the visa with Internal Revenue Service. No, we don't want to do that. So you don't want to have one problem, get rid of your credit card, your visa, only to incur issues with the Internal Revenue Service. So make sure you talk with a qualified tax professional, especially if this becomes meaningful, ongoing income. And because we're talking about people who already have careers, right, jobs, there's another issue that you really should not skip over, and that is your current employer. Review your employer's outside employment policy. It's very, very important because you want to make sure there's no conflict of interest rules. Think about the confidentiality obligations. Read that, understand it, the non-disclosure agreements, and anything governing your outside work. And understand this distinction. Your experience, yes, that's yours. But your employer's confidential information, customer information, proprietary systems, trade secrets, and protected data are not yours. So don't use confidential employer information to complete these outside AI jobs, period. So there's enough money on the table without creating a problem at your regular job. We don't want that. Now let's talk about what concerns me, because I am super excited about these opportunities. Now I'm not drunk on it or anything like that, because I know there are always drawbacks. No guaranteed work, competition, unpaid application time, all of the assessments and interviews and projects starting and stopping and variable hours and contractor taxes and some scams that you do have to watch out for. Because anytime legitimate remote work starts advertising seriously, these high hourly rates, well, the scammers smell that money too. So don't pay someone to unlock a job for you. Do not pay anyone to unlock a job for you. Don't spend money for equipment to a random recruiter. Don't hand over your social security number because someone sent you a text message. All of this will be done on the actual site for the AI company, right? And they're legitimate. Don't assume a logo makes an email legitimate. Go back to the official website. Verify. Use the official application portal. And when legitimate identity and tax verification becomes necessary during onboarding, make sure you know exactly who you're giving your information to. And so now, the elephant in the room. Somebody's watching this and they're saying, hold on, you're getting paid to train the thing that might eventually replace you? Well, I think that's a fair question. And my answer is possibly parts of what we do. AI is going to change jobs. We already know that. As a matter of fact, it already has. Some tasks will disappear. Other tasks will change. New jobs, though, will appear. And nobody can tell you exactly where the line eventually lands. But here's my position. If AI is coming into my profession anyway, I'd rather understand what's coming through the door. I'd rather learn what it can do, what it can't do, where it fails, and where human judgment still matters. And so where the money is moving, the direction that the money is moving, of course, they're looking to have AI replace a lot of humans, but I've been doing a lot of research on this, and to be perfectly honest with you, and this is just my personal opinion, AI will never be human, and they will never fully replace humans. They just won't be able to do that, because there's something fascinating about being a human, right? And these companies that's building AI, they are essentially saying, we still need humans who actually know what they're talking about and what they're doing. And they're paying for the access to your brain and to your knowledge base. So that's not something I would ignore. And here's something that is so important, guys. Not every extra dollar has to go toward debt. Maybe you're already debt-free. And if you are, fantastic. Then what's your target? Savings? 6 months of expenses, investments, accounts, home improvements, helping out family members, or maybe take your family somewhere you've always wanted to go and then come home without a vacation sitting on your credit card for the next 14 months. Extra income buys something beyond just stuff, y'all. It buys options. And options, well, that is financial power. So what's the long and short of this entire subject? Would I investigate AI training work? Yes, I would, and I did. Would I apply? I did. Would I go through the interview process? I did twice. Would I quit a dependable full-time career because someone advertised a $150 an hour job? Absolutely not. That's not the opportunity I'm excited about. The opportunity that I'm excited about is I get to keep my career, I get to keep my paycheck and my benefits. And when the right project matches expertise that you already have, make the extra income work harder than you worked to earn it. So maybe instead of letting the economy tell us what we can afford, we go find where the money moved to. Maybe 6 months doesn't change your entire life, but maybe it eliminates at least one large debt. It can restore one savings account, pay off one car, fund a dream vacation, or it gives you one thing people don't have enough of right now: breathing room, room to save, room to make choices, room to get ahead. And that's why this opportunity made the Underground Almanac, right? Not because it's guaranteed, not because everyone qualifies, and not even because every assignment pays $150 an hour. It's because it gives you options, and almost everyone has experience and is a professional at what they do full time. So why not use it to your advantage? So for the right person, at the right time, with the right expertise, this could be a serious financial opportunity hiding in plain sight. About those resumes. So aside from your regular resume, you can have, say for instance, ChatGPT or Gemini or Gronk to make you a resume specific to the AI trainer jobs that you will be applying for. Because I spent the time researching this so you don't have to. And here's why the Underground Almanac exists. There's money moving all around us. New opportunities, changing industries, unconventional ways to earn, save, and to get ahead. So our job is to find them before everyone else does. So I do the digging. I separate the opportunity from the hype. And I give you enough information to decide whether it deserves your time. So if you're tired of hearing about opportunities after everyone else already knows about them, well, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and guess what, guys? Share it with a friend, because we're not chasing get rich quick schemes. We're finding smarter ways to get ahead faster. So I'm Grayson Ellison, and this is the Underground Almanac. So stay curious, stay ready, and when opportunity opens the door, know what to do with it. And I'll see you on the next video.